In 2019, Rhode Island took a major retailer to court. The allegation was that they knowingly sold makeup to children that contained asbestos, the same carcinogen that killed construction workers. That retailer is still operating today. And that is just one of 5 brands we're covering in this video. Some of these you probably have in your bag right now. Revlon Color Stay has been in medicine cabinets across the world since 1994. It sells because it works. 24 hours of wear, no transfer, and full coverage. The problem, however, is why it works. A 2021 study from the University of Notre Dame tested over 200 popular cosmetics and found PFAS chemicals, poly and perfluoroalkyl substances, in 52% of the foundations tested. Revlon Color Stay was among those that tested positive. PFAS are called chemicals for a specific reason forever. They don't break down in the environment. They don't break down in your body. Every time you apply this foundation, those molecules enter your bloodstream through your facial skin, which is thinner and more permeable than anywhere else on your body. They accumulate in your liver, kidneys, and blood. Studies link long-term PFAS exposure to thyroid disease, elevated cholesterol, weakened immune response, and kidney cancer. The European Union is currently moving to ban PFAS in cosmetics. Denmark has already done it. The United States has not. So Revlon continues selling this formula legally to women and teenagers applying it every single day. On top of the PFAS, Color Stay contains formaldehyde-releasing preservatives. These are chemicals that slowly emit formaldehyde gas throughout the day as the product sits on your face. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies formaldehyde as a known human carcinogen. It is banned in Japanese cosmetics. In the US, it's perfectly legal in a drugstore foundation. And here is what the 24-hour wear promise actually means. The reason this foundation doesn't move is because PFAS create an almost non-stick chemical barrier on your skin. The same compound used in non-stick cookware and firefighting foam is the active reason your foundation stays put. The next brand on this list is not a drugstore product. It is a prestige brand charging luxury prices, and independent lab testing found heavy metals in their most iconic product. MAC Ruby Woo is one of the most famous lipsticks on the planet. Celebrities wear it on red carpets. Makeup artists carry it in professional kits. It costs $23 and is owned by Estee Lauder, a conglomerate worth over $100 billion with the resources for rigorous safety testing and clean ingredient sourcing. Independent testing by the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics found lead, chromium, cadmium, and manganese in MAC lipsticks, particularly in red shades like Ruby Woo. Lead levels in some shades came in at over 2 parts per million. For context, the FDA limits lead in children's candy to 0.1 parts per million. That is a product children might eat. Lipstick is a product that sits on your mouth all day. Research published in Environmental Health Perspectives found that women who wear lipstick daily ingest around 24 milligrams per day. Over a year, that is roughly 8.7 grams swallowed. Every meal, every drink, every time you touch your lips. Over a lifetime of daily use, estimates put total ingestion at 4 to 9 pounds of lipstick. If that lipstick contains lead above 2 parts per million, you are accumulating heavy metals every single day. The CDC states there is no safe blood level of lead. Lead crosses the placenta and affects fetal development. It accumulates in bones for decades. It causes neurological damage, kidney problems, and reproductive issues. A brand charging premium prices for a product containing heavy metals is one thing. The next brand on this list sold contaminated products to children and kept selling them after the first recall. Between 2017 and 2019, Claire's recalled makeup products not once, not twice, but 11 separate times for asbestos contamination. The contamination came from talc. Talc and asbestos occur naturally together in the ground, and when talc is mined without proper testing and separation, asbestos comes with it. Claire's was sourcing cheap talc from suppliers who were not testing adequately. The FDA got involved after a TV station in Rhode Island commissioned independent lab testing and found asbestos in Claire's Just Shine shimmer powder. More testing found contamination across different products. Then more recalls. Then more contamination. The pattern was consistent enough that Rhode Island filed a lawsuit in 2019 alleging Claire's knowingly continued selling potentially contaminated products while the recalls were still ongoing. Claire's got caught because a local TV station pushed for independent testing. The next brand on this list has never faced the same public scrutiny, but shares supply chain connections with one of the biggest talc cancer lawsuits in American history. CoverGirl True Blend is one of the most accessible foundations in the U.S. market. Affordable, available in every drugstore, and marketed specifically to women with sensitive skin under a hypoallergenic label. Here is what hypoallergenic actually means in the United States. Nothing. There is no legal definition. There is no testing requirement. Any company can print hypoallergenic on any product without meeting a single standard. It's a marketing term with zero regulatory backing. CoverGirl was previously owned by Procter & Gamble, which shared talc supply chains with Johnson & Johnson during the period that they faced over 38,000 lawsuits alleging their talc baby powder caused ovarian cancer due to asbestos contamination. Products in the CoverGirl line containing talc were sourced from overlapping supplier networks during that same period. TrueBlend also contains synthetic fragrance. On an ingredient label, fragrance is a single word that can legally cover up to 3,000 different undisclosed chemicals, because fragrance formulas are considered trade secrets under U.S. law. Hidden within that single word are often phthalates, known hormone disruptors, and synthetic musks linked to endocrine disruption. TrueBlend also oxidizes noticeably on the skin, turning pink or orange within a few hours of application. That color shift is a visible sign of chemical reactions happening on your face throughout the day. And one more thing, when a foundation causes headaches, that is usually fragrance overload affecting the nervous system. It's a documented reaction. It's not normal and should not be dismissed as sensitivity. The brand at the top of this list is one that specifically targets teenagers with its marketing. While lab testing shows it contains heavy metals at levels that should disqualify it from being sold near any school. NYX built its entire identity on the word professional. The branding signals quality, expertise, and standards above what you find at a drugstore. It's owned by L'Oreal, but positioned as an affordable indie option for Gen Z. Independent testing by consumer advocacy groups found lead levels in NYX lipsticks ranging between 1.5 and 3.2 parts per million. The FDA limits lead in candy, something children might eat, to 0.1 parts per million. Several NYX shades tested at 15 to 32 times above that limit in a product applied to lips and unconsciously ingested throughout the day. The FDA tested 400 lipsticks back in 2012 and found detectable lead in every single one of them. Levels varied significantly by brand and shade. Higher pigment concentrations, especially in bold reds and deep tones, correlated with higher metal contamination, because the mineral pigments used to create those colors carry heavy metal impurities. Chromium and cadmium also showed up in testing of similar products across this category. Chromium is linked to cancer. Cadmium causes kidney and organ damage. These are not trace amounts that disappear. They accumulate in bone tissue over years of daily use. L'Oreal, the parent company, reformulates products for the European market to comply with stricter EU safety regulations. The EU bans or restricts over 1,400 cosmetic ingredients. The US bans 11. So the same parent company applies different safety standards depending on which government enforces them, and American consumers get the formulas that do not make the cut in France. The information to make a different choice is available. The brands that do third-party testing and publish the results exist, and reading an ingredient label takes 30 seconds. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments section below, and make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.